Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. The cinematic is finally here. After months of will she die, won't she? We have our answer, and that is... Yeah, Dan User was never going to let his waifu die. Come on, but... Oh, God, this one's not great. Let's just get into it. Now, first up, and this is crazy that it even needs to be said, but don't threaten people because they did their job, but it somehow didn't meet your expectations. Look, we have enough negativity in our WoW community as it is. Instead, channel your frustrations. If you're not happy, put it into a forum post, make a video. Just put it into something constructive that expresses what you didn't like in a way that the developers can actually use it going forward. Because when the 0.0000001% make threats, it tars any negative comment with that brush. And all those that have issues are then ignored as haters or hornets that are a simple annoyance. And that only hurts us as a WoW player base in general, because all that the likes of Dan User and Golden, etc. will then hear is the voices that just say, "Oh my god, this is amazing, I felt so much emotion, I'm crying, you did an amazing job." But on to the cinematic itself, and the reason that we're here. Feeling, well, sadly, nothing. It has come to the point where we simply can't kill Warcraft 3 characters, because in truth that is all that is left holding the WoW story together. Every expansion we have the same bunch of heroes joining us. We maybe get interesting side characters, only for them to be dropped in the next patch or the next expansion. And because of this, the OG characters needed to carry the whole weight. There is no way you can kill the likes of Jaina, Sylvanas, Illidan or Vol'jin. And that's a shame, because the strength of a good story is that you have a cast of characters that are so good that you can be shocked when, oh my god, one of them's died. Because you want to see how that's going to affect the others. How does this affect the world as a whole? What is going to happen next? I mean, a great example of this is Ned Stark. Great character that then dies and you're left shocked. This is not how it's meant to play out. Somebody's meant to jump up there and save him. But because the world was so rich in good, interesting characters, it moves on. WoW can't afford to do that. Don't get me wrong, there is huge potential. But the writers, it seems, are too scared to push or explore these characters, instead falling back to the tried and tested few. Princess Talandri, what is she up to at the moment? Celia Minithil, will she step up and help the newly reformed Sylvanas? What about Lillian Voss, another character that has struggled to understand her place in the world? She could help Sylvanas, but both these characters have been dropped, so we don't really care. We have no investment in them. We have no idea right now what is happening to them or to Azeroth as a whole. And that's bad world building. We should be constantly heading back to Azeroth now. Maybe have a faction called the Forces of Azeroth. We could have a weekly quest to go back and talk to the leaders and other key figures to find out information, to sort out supplies, logistics, to go and kick some goblins for catapults, to send into the Shadowlands. Now that the moor is open, the forces can head in and out. We could maybe go and talk to Magni and Mother and find out what research is happening with regards to the giant sword, which is still sticking out the side of the planet. We could speak to Khadgar to see if he has research that could turn anything up on the jailer. Doesn't need to be long and in-depth storylines, just something that keeps us connected to these characters. That way we get a sense of what is happening. We are part of this larger world that's living and breathing when we're off doing other things. A big complaint that I've heard regarding Shadowlands is it's all too big. It's too much. It's far better when it was just orcs and humans, and that's because the narrative team is still having us act like adventurers. Like we've just picked our 10th cactus apple, and now we're off to speak to a missing god about supplies. And he's like, oh yes, we've lost the pay chest. You're like, I'll go and find it, because you're a hero and an adventurer. We've moved up a few ranks since then. We're not that level of adventure anymore. Now you may be sat there saying, when is he actually going to talk about the cutscene itself? And my reply is, I have been the whole time. This cutscene is fine, it's okay, it serves its purpose. Sylvanas was never going to die. Sylvanas was going to be redeemed in some way The jailer was going to get more powerful. We called it in the last video we did on the subject. Everyone's called this for months. It's like standing on the platform of a New York subway and some guy next to you throws a cheeseburger on the tracks. Then turns to you all excited and goes, oh, I wonder what's going to come and eat that. And you turn to the guy and say, it's going to be rats, dude. Rats are going to come and eat that. And he looks at you and says, but it might not be. It could be a unicorn or a bear or an old god. And you say, no, dude, it's going to be rats. The rats are going to eat that. And he's like, whoa, we'll see, won't we? But it may not be what you think it is. And lo and behold, it turns out to be rats eat the cheeseburger. And you're not excited at being right, because by that point, you just don't care. That's the WoW story at this point. The rot of storytelling has been coming for some time. We've spoken about this in numerous videos. It's not a surprise. It feels like the writers have inherited this huge house filled with so many precious and wondrous things. And rather than respect and continue to develop and grow on this foundation, they have chosen just instead to have a house party, inviting only their favourites. And in the process, whatever they break, they try and repair with some tape and crazy glue. Now you may say the story isn't important. Look, Grim, it's about orcs and humans and some space goats. Come on. But that's the world we fell in love with. Before players were doing M+, before they were race to world first raiders, we're simply adventurers in this wonderful world. Everything we do in this game is built upon the story. Even if you're at the very top end, dungeon designs based on the story. The raid encounters, the mechanics of the bosses all come from the story and what we're going to face. When the story becomes fine, then yeah, it's alright. Then blah. And then, I don't care about the story anymore. That's the beginning of the end, because it doesn't matter how good the art department is, or how good the WoW cinematic team does, or any of the other teams. This is a fantasy game. It lives and dies upon its storytelling, by the world it immerses us in. It doesn't matter how good the Slyvanas fight may be in the end. Let's go crazy and say it's the greatest raid boss ever, for argument's sake. When you get to the end of it, you get that sense of just satisfaction, like, yes, we beat it. And then you see that cutscene. All of that hype is gone. All of that, yes, I remember doing N'Zoth. Killing N'Zoth, and then that cutscene, and I was like, oh, okay. And in this one especially, you sat there thinking, oh my god, Slyvanas is a snowflake. An elf says, you can't kill hope. Slyvanas gets mad, she burns down an entire tree. Then the jailer says, all will serve. This, by the way, is her boss, and has been since Wrath of the Lich King. She gets angry and fires a single arrow at him. What? Slyvanas not really known for one that loses her temper on a whim, supposedly. She's a strategic thinker, a planner. You know, she's always 10 moves ahead of you. But I think I've gone on long enough. I think I've gone on far too long, probably, on this one subject. But I will say this before I go, to the writers at Blizzard currently. Game of Thrones will not be remembered for the amazing first couple of seasons, created off the back of the hard work of George. Instead, it will be remembered for the failure it was at the end. For how it broke the trust and the love it earned from its fans. You now hold decades of WoW lore in your hands, of stories, of beloved characters that we've spent years with now, created by giants like Metzen and the rest of the team. So when you're sat there and you're working on the next bit of story, don't just look at your work and go, well, that will do, or yeah, that's fine, it's alright. Take a step back and ask, can we do better? Thank you for watching, everyone. Stay safe, and I will catch you all in the next video. Laters, everyone.